know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via One Radio's Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on One Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Ministry of Education and Talent. It is always a pleasure to be here with you every Saturday morning to share activities, updates, initiatives, anything that I can to help you, our students, our young people, and of course to give you the options of what you can access and as I said, the opportunities and the activities. We believe that our students, our young people, need to be able to have access to ways that they can develop themselves holistically, and so we provide information, we provide updates on things that are related to the various possible areas. And this morning we'll be looking at a special one. It's a secret until such a time, but it's a special one this morning, and we will have some special guests in studio as well. However, ahead of that, I want to keep us abreast of what is happening. It is indeed a busy season for us. There are so many things happening on the sports side. We have lots of activities both at the school level and at the community level happening. We currently, this past week, we saw the talent development, the TDS program being launched, and there were several young people who were trying to be part of that. It's a football program initiative sponsored by FIFA through the SKNFA, and so those students were at the Nevis Athletic Stadium for 3 days this week doing tryouts. They want to be selected to then have more focused sessions to take them to the next level. There were over 50 students there and each day, and we want to commend all of those who made it possible. Of course, Director of Sports Mr. Claxton, and the lead for the TDS program Mr. Algin Newton, and the entire team who worked with them along the way. Of course, we know that we also had the scouts. There was a scout here over the weekend into the early parts of the week, looking to see who would possibly, or who has potential to possibly transition to a college scholarship or professional football. And so we had some young people going to St. Kitts to be part of that. The various activities continue in relation to the preparation for CARIFTA 2024. We know that CARIFTA 2024 is going to take place in Grenada, and we have various academies taking place over through the SKN Athletics, and so we have students and young people also involved in the Throws Academy, and of course throughout the past few months they have had various exposures as well. But currently, today as we speak, they are involved in the Throws Academy, trying to improve their throws in discus, javelin, shot put. Tomorrow we will see the next classic activity happening, and over the past few months we've seen some classics coming to Nevis, and the classics are an opportunity for them to be able to be exposed, but also for our students to be able to qualify for CARIFTA, students and general young persons who are eligible. And so the final classic will take place tomorrow. The SL Hosford's Classic will take place tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the Nevis Athletic Stadium, and we expect to see you all there supporting our students. They will participate in the various activities, so that once again, and with the hope that they will be able to qualify. Following that meet, then we go full force into our upcoming track and field season, the sports meet season. So we have this track and field season going on. We've had road relays this week. We've had cross countries this week. We have them coming up in the next few weeks as well, right down as part of the journey to the various individual schools' sports days. After that, we also have, as I said, coming up, we also have on Friday, the first secondary school meet. The Charlestown Secondary School will have their meet at the Nevis Athletic Stadium on Friday. The following Thursday, February 15th, Gingerland Secondary, same venue. Then the 20th, Charlestown Primary, 21st, Ivor Walters Primary, 22nd, Elizabeth Pemberton Primary, 27th, Nevis Academy, 29th, Joyceton Liber Primary, and the 1st, Nevis International Secondary at the Flats. Then we will have the St. James Primary at their school's playing field. We'll have Maud Cross Preschool also on the 5th at the EDW Park. We'll have St. Thomas's Primary on March 6th, Nevis Athletic Stadium. Cicely Brown, March 7th, Nevis Athletic Stadium. VOJN Primary, March 8th at their school's field. Gingerland Preschool, March 8th at the Hard Times Play Field. VMJ's Preschool, ETW Park on March 12th. Maud Cross Prep will have their meet on March 13th at Nevis Athletic Stadium. Naomi's Preschool, St. Thomas's Field on March 14th. Montessori Academy Bath Playfield, March 15th. Ines France Preschool, March 15th. St. Thomas's Primary School's Field. Combermere Preschool, the VOJN Field on March 20th. Vernon Lou Preschool at the school's grounds on March 25th. Charlestown Preschool at the ETW Park on March 26th, and St. John's Preschool on March 27th at the Bath playing field. We know that we will have the Nevis High School's Championship on March 9th through 10th, and that we will see the competition among our 3 secondary schools here on Nevis. And then April 3rd, Nevis Interprimary Schools Championship will take place at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. We're also aware that our Carifta trials take place right here on Nevis, and that will be on the weekend of March 2nd and 3rd. And we look forward to seeing all of those activities happening. So those are, in a nutshell, what we can expect for the upcoming season, at least the information that we have that is confirmed. And we also know that that is just one component. We are also looking at the Literary and Debating Society going to St. Kitts to participate in the upcoming Leeward Islands debating competition. I've shared those at length with you on the topics, and I'm hoping that we're all showing our support to Team Nevis as they journey to St. Kitts for the Leeward Islands debating competition, commencing on March 29th, culminating on February 29th and culminating on March 3rd. So those are just a few of the major activities that we can look forward to in the upcoming weeks, and we have quite a bit more to talk about, but we have some special guests today, so we'll get to meet them and hear a bit about what's going on from their end just after we've taken this very short break.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling needs for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning.
All right, welcome back. Let's go. It is a beautiful Saturday morning here on Nevis. My name is Zahnela Claxton from the Ministry of Education Natal, and we are here with you on Saturday mornings to share as much information, updates, activities that we have available for our students, for our young people on a whole. And as I said earlier, this morning we will be speaking about, an opportunity that some of our young persons were able to access, and perhaps some information that can also be meaningful for our general youth population and our general population as a whole. And so we know that we look towards holistic development, and we have some young persons this morning with us in studio. I will allow them to introduce themselves, to tell us the organization that they're representing today.
Hi, a pleasant good day. My name is Janicia Pemberton. I am a youth health advocate with Lake Health and Wellbeing, which is a non-governmental, non-profit organization stationed in St. Kitts.
So our aim is basically dedicated to improving the
Okay,
overall...
before we go there, we have to make sure they know your name. So,
yes,
that's
hi.
fine.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fiona Zhang, and I am also a youth health advocate at Lake Health and Wellbeing. So we are aiming to dedicate our time and our efforts to improving the overall health and well-being of our online, our regional, and our local community. And we do that typically through research, through public health interventions. We do that through campaigns. We do that through educational awareness programs. And typically, we also provide support to smaller organizations. And that type of support usually comes in the form of public health.
All right. So I personally have never heard of youth health advocates. So before we go into the meat of what Fiona just shared with us in terms of your aim, tell us a bit about your backgrounds as it relates to health, or your interests in health, which has brought you to this place. In essence, how did you get to be youth health advocates? What was the process like? And a bit about your background.
Yeah, so I am currently a practicing dietitian. So we are involved in food and nutrition and overall health and well-being within the community. So I currently work at the Alexandra Hospital within public health, and of course I have been able to see and witness, even through my education in school, the Caribbean and the world in general. We have a high prevalence of non-communicable diseases, and there is so much more that we could do as far as health, and that could be achieved through health policies, of course. And through my profession and my degree, I have an interest in volunteerism in general, volunteering in my community, and youth advocacy, of course, is one way we would be able to advocate for youths within our community. Of course, youths are vulnerable, especially in this day and age, to non-communicable diseases, and so I realize that there is more that we could do within our community to improve health, the health standards, health policy as a whole, and this is why I have been dedicated to being a youth advocate and being within the public health sector.
All right.
So for me personally, I am a second-year natural science student at CFBC, and I've always been passionate about, the well-being of individuals, and particularly youth, because I myself am one. And when I learned that Lake Health and Wellbeing's commitment to youth health was there, I knew it was a good fit for me, and I think their dedication to bringing about good changes and positive changes in our community had also resonated with my values, and I wanted to contribute in my own way to creating a healthier future for the people in our federation.
All right. So you can see that we have some young people here who can punch really high in terms of doing a great job, I think, with using their interests and their backgrounds to also make a difference, which at the end of the day is what we want for our young people, that they can use the information that they have and really make a difference in our society. All right. So tell us a bit about Lake Health and Wellbeing, because you're advocates, you're youth health advocates. We've been throwing around the name. Tell us a bit about the organization so that people can get a sense of what it does. And we know it's a non-profit. Okay.
Okay, so basically Lake Health and Wellbeing, it's a registered public health non-governmental organization. We're also a civil society organization, and our founder and our program director, Abby Bejo, she has a master's degree in health sciences, and our advocacy officer, Michelle Baker, she has a bachelor's in health sciences. And basically, our aim is to, as I said before, to improve the overall health and well-being of our community, and we do that in research and public health interventions. And an example of certain projects that we're doing right now would include the Menstrual Health Education Project. And basically, this project is directed and targeted towards children from the ages of 9 to 13, and that would include boys and girls. Yes, yes. So we're trying to get both aspects of gender inside. We typically would offer educational sessions pertaining to menstrual health, so that they can understand the biological aspect of it, practices like these menstrual hygiene practices that are followed, so that they can basically live a better life, have a more open-mindedness, and foster positive feelings in our community.
All right.
And there are also other projects such as the NCD Alliance project. And so what it does is it's bringing together a coalition of various civil society organizations and various organizations in general, and it's focused at the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases, and of course that would be achieved through education, providing support to persons who have non-communicable diseases, and advocating for the different policies, different health policies that would of course help to provide some type of management and treatment for their conditions, and building the capacity of the members who are involved. And of course there are various organizations who are a part of the NCD Alliance, such as the Renal Society, the Diabetes Society, and so forth. So there are a number of different organizations who make up the coalition, the NCD Alliance Coalition.
Okay. Have either of you been involved in any of these projects in any way?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
I can recall. So my introduction to Lake Health and Wellbeing was the "You're Not Sweet Enough" campaign, or "You're Sweet Enough."
Yeah.
"You're Sweet Enough" campaign.
Yes.
And I remember because they had a lot of social media engagements involved in it, so they had to do, for example, the students had to do a dance to a song that came out, and then they had a winner there, and they had various challenges within that campaign that made it stand out for me, and I'm sure many of our viewers and listeners are also aware of some of that work that was done, because it was that public. Is that the aim for the Lake Health and Wellbeing in terms of your projects generally, making sure that they are engaging and that general public is aware?
Yes, to engage the youths as well, because there are many basically policies and decisions that are made today, and typically policymakers don't generally reach out or consult the youths on the issues. So are these issues really, or are these solutions actually being effective to the youth? And that is the aim of the Youth Health Advocate initiative as well, to engage youths in the conversations, to make sure we are sharing space with the policymakers, with other organizations when it comes to the decision making.
All right. So you talked about your involvement and the importance of raising awareness among youth and getting youth involved. I think that in various sectors we see evidence that sometimes the young people don't get involved, sometimes they don't seem to be interested, and I think because developmentally the young people can sometimes seem detached, we take that as an assumption and we don't engage them as much as we can as persons in leadership in the various sectors. But tell us a bit about why it is important, or in terms of youth engagement, why is it important for youth to be involved in health advocacy work? You are youth who are involved in young persons who are involved in youth advocacy work. Why is it important for young people to get involved?
Of course, we would like to encourage the youth to be engaged in advocacy work because, number one, we are a part of the population. So we should be, our decisions should be, our voices should be heard in some way. And we also play a crucial role in promoting and advocating for health and well-being, specifically for young people. And so what does it mean to be meaningfully engaged? So first of all, the policymakers, the government ministries, government officials, you have to involve young people. You have to come up with different strategies to ensure that we do have a voice, and you have to value or start by valuing our perspective, our ideas as youths, empower us and actively engage us to contribute. And why should you engage youth? We are more vulnerable today, as I mentioned, to non-communicable diseases as well as childhood obesity. And by engaging us in the decision making, the policymakers, the civil society organizations, the government officials, you can address the issues more effectively and develop targeted interventions that are specific to the needs of young people. And also it ensures that our perspectives, our concerns, and our interests are taken into account, and so that would lead to policies that are more inclusive to us. And it also allows the organizations to tap into the knowledge that we have. We are creative, and so and the world is evolving more and more each day. We're becoming more modern, and so this would also lead to more comprehensive and more impactful approaches to addressing the issues that, of course, plague us as young people.
All right, and so thank you for sharing that, Janicia. And we are aware that you are correct. The young people are part of the population, and as we look at the model of having consultations and conversations, it's important that they come to the table. I think that we tend to focus on bringing youth into the conversations when it relates to something that we think is directly related to youth. So you might bring them in to talk about a youth policy, or you might bring them in to talk about a youth activities or what they want to see as youth, but not necessarily, as I said, across sectors. And we have to all understand that youth don't exist in a vacuum, that they exist as part of the whole.
Yes.
They're part of the whole society, and so their input is important. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we are going to explore that concept. You talked about youth engagement. I want to go down that road a little bit more and have a conversation around what that looks like when we come back.
Okay.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round, an adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers on Von Radio's Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Ministry of Education et al., and we are here today with some very important youth advocates. I mean, last week we had some advocates, this week we have some advocates. Our young people are really trying to make a difference and to be ambassadors for causes which will make a difference in our society. Just before the break, and for those who just tuned in, we have two youth advocates from Lake Health and Wellbeing, a non-profit organization based on St. Kitts. We have Fiona and we have Janicia here with us, and they have been doing some work behind the scenes and perhaps even publicly to make sure that the youth presence is felt in the areas of health and well-being, and also that we can advocate for youth participation and involvement. And during her presentation, Janicia spoke a bit about the importance that young people are part of the population, and they're not separate and apart. They are part of the population. And before the break, we spoke to the fact that we are sometimes limited in the scope and limited in what we expose our young people to, and the level of voice that we give to our young people. And as they spoke, I thought about, ladies, the age-old belief by policymakers, by leaders, that youth involvement or youth participation or youth engagement is the same as an invitation. Mm-hmm. So sometimes young people are invited to something as a symbolic activity.
Almost like tokenism. Yes,
it is.
Like it's more so of just being there, the presence of being there, and just saying that, oh, this person has been here and they've been to this event, and no actual work has been done behind the scenes. And
neither was their input sought.
Exactly.
Lots of times we have them there, like you said, tokenism, we just have them there for that purpose. And so I wanted for us to just spend a few minutes talking about the difference between tokenism, or inviting young people to a space, and actual engagement and involvement, and the implications for this on health and health policy. So because we're specific to health and health policy, however, we know that the contributions, I think, would transcend any sector. And so the young persons, what in your mind would be the preference of young people as it relates to their interactions related to policy, health policy, and what have been some of your own experiences dealing with youth involvement, engagement, or tokenism or such invitations?
Well, I would say, as you mentioned, sometimes there are, let's say, meetings or programs and activities, and youths we are invited just to show up that we are actually involved in them. But is our voice being heard? And so instead of course, let's say approaches right now, typically we would have, or the government official would have very formalized meetings. Sometimes the wording in which because as you mentioned, youths, we may seem as though we are not interested in these initiatives, but we have to bring it across in a way that would allow us to be engaged and to stay focused on or to be involved in the initiative. So perhaps we could create more programs that are more inclusive of us, and so that would involve, of course, create more for example, the LIDC. I think LIDC is something that engages youth in general in debating, and so I'm sure especially for persons who are interested in law, they would typically be more focused to something like LIDC. So create programs, youth-led programs that are related to health. And so consult us on ways in which you could develop different active, such as surveys, blogs. It could be information sessions, workshops, fun activities to actually engage us. Creative, even when you're advocating or providing educational materials. Of course, social media is a big thing now, and so we could get involved creatively in social media, creating videos, 1-minute clips on TikToks, and that would allow us to feel more, engaged and interested in the topic or issue. So you just have to find creative programs, creative initiatives to engage us.
Okay, wonderful. And I heard that the part of or a phrase that stood out for me was youth-led programs.
Youth-led.
That's another struggle that I think that we have in our society.
Yeah.
We want to be adult-led, youth follow all the time, and we don't understand that sometimes we can be facilitators and supporters.
Yeah.
Youth have to understand that there is no way to trade for experience. Experience is wisdom, and it brings a different insight, but allowing the balance of experience and developing our young people is sometimes a struggle for us as leaders, as policymakers. I know you spoke a bit about being invited to meetings and sessions, but have you had to date as youth advocates any engagements with higher level policymakers, for example, maybe ministers of health or directors of health, where you were able to present, or does your work remain within the constraints of and the confines of Lake Health and Wellbeing for now?
Yes. So quite recently, last year in September the 22nd, we had a meeting with the Attorney General, Dr. Wilkin, and we were basically focusing on vital policies and legislations and critical measures used to tackle non-communicable diseases in our federation. This meeting was a huge step in our ongoing commitment to tackling and combating NCDs, because we do know that NCDs are one of the major causes leading to death and disabilities on a global scale. So one of the things that we were trying to pinpoint, more so underscore, was that these policies, these food healthy policies, would basically reduce consumption. When the price of something goes up, typically the demand for it would go down, because you're trying to avoid that. Trying to avoid spending more money on that item because it's expensive now. So it would basically act as a deterrent, so you wouldn't choose that item anymore. And this is where we would kind of want to focus on bringing healthier options to be the easier option. Secondly, we basically wanted to let the public know that these policies would also help to generate revenue and income, because these taxes would basically be able to fund other public health initiatives, other educational awareness programs, so that we're more aware and we're more equipped so that we can make better informed decisions. And then lastly, healthy alternatives. By taxing the sugar-sweetened beverages, we're trying to tell consumers to basically choose healthier choices, but that has to come at the expense of these options actually being affordable and accessible, because we do know that right now prices are not too cheap. So a little bit high. Yeah. So if we want to basically encourage people to have better dietary habits and eating habits, we should start by basically almost like subsidizing. So there's this concept called a zero basket, which is a zero valued basket, which is basically where you wouldn't tax the individuals, so that they can get like fresh produces and fresh products that are healthy for them, and it would basically improve their health and get them to be more active and whatnot.
All right.
And then we've also engaged policymakers, the government official. We've had the Sweet Talk Symposium, which was held in October, and the brainchild of the Sweet Talk Symposium is Shira Watley. And so the aim or the goal of the symposium was just to bring together government officials, policymakers, as well as students and persons affected by or who have non-communicable diseases, to create a shared space for them to communicate on what the challenges are, what issues we are facing as youths, and also to provide, get their feedback, the ministers' feedback, as well as the feedback and recommendation from the students, and how we would be able to move forward to address the current environment as it relates to health, nutrition, accessibility to healthy food. And also the NCD Alliance, we've also had the opportunity to engage the ministry of the Prime Minister, Naima Hazel. She was a part of the meeting, and she was able to hear the feedback, get the challenges from the different members or the different organizations in the coalition. What are the challenges that we are facing? And a way forward to begin to address the issues that we currently have in our federation.
All right, so it looks as though we're making some strides. In fact, when we talked about the difference between tokenism and actual engagement and involvement, I think that your work is indicative of and demonstrates the action component of the engagement and involvement, and I'm indeed pleased with what you have done so far. I know that the entire Lake Health and Wellbeing must be equally as pleased as you are for the work that you have been doing so far. Sometimes young people get a bit intimidated by certain tasks and roles, and when you hear things like advocates and advocacy, it can indeed seem overwhelming. And so I want to commend you. We've talked a lot about the various accomplishments that we've seen through your work and the work of various persons within Lake Health and Wellbeing. I noted that you said that there was a Sweet Talk Symposium, I recall that, and it was the brainchild of Shira Watley.
Yes.
Is she another youth advocate, or?
She's involved in, the youth advocacy with Lake Health and Wellbeing as well, yes.
Okay, and so what is your ultimate goal? At the end of the day, what are you looking at? Working through Lake Health, working as youth advocates, what is your ultimate goal?
And the ultimate goal, I would say, would be to see a healthier St. Kitts and Nevis. And so the work that we do, we want to meaningfully engage youths in the conversation. And we are the future doctors, we are the future policymakers, we are the future individuals who will get NCDs, we will get diseases. And so we have to be a part of the conversation because we are the future. And so we are trying to create basically noise and create programs and create the information that yes, we can be involved. Here is the way forward. We have to be included in the decision-making process. The government officials, the ministries, the civil society organizations, they need to include us. They need to hear our voice. And also, we have to make sure that the work that they are doing as well, it is indeed impactful, and it will result to some form of change for, and as I said, to make a healthier future for St. Kitts and Nevis.
All right, and
Yes.
so we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll close out the conversation. But so far, I'm really enjoying the conversation and seeing great potential as youth advocates in various areas and various sectors, especially in the health sector, which we have not seen that level of advocacy coming from the youth themselves. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Yes.
Sugar City Saint kids, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners or viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Ministry of Education, Information Technology, Library Services, Youth and Sports, and this morning we have some youth here with us. They are not just youth, they're youth advocates. They're youth advocates for a non-profit organization, Lake Health and Wellbeing, and of course by virtue of their roles they advocate for health and youth presence in the health sector and a youth voice. We heard a lot about the work that has been going on through Lake Health and Wellbeing and their advocacy work as well, and I think that we just have a few more loose ends to tie up, ladies, in terms of your activities and the projects that have been going on, and in your capacity as youth advocates, what you would like for persons listening to be able to do.
Great, thank you so much, Ms. Claxton. So we have a autism research project that is currently in the process, and we're still in our first phase where we're collecting information to see the public's knowledge and understanding of autism and the topic of it. So I think it's imperative to shed light on autism because historically it's been a very widely overlooked area. And so our objective of this project seeks to identify existing gaps and so that we can provide appropriate support and provide a proper response to the situation, formulate specific policies and support systems so that we can foster an environment where they can thrive. So we are distributing surveys and we would like the public to participate in it, and this can be found on our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram. All you have to do is search for Lake Health and Wellbeing and there would be a link that would take you to the survey. So please fill it out for us so that we can gain more data and more information on this topic because there's not enough resources in the region, so it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
And before you go too far, Fiona, persons tend to, so they tell us each platform, social media platform, Facebook,
and Instagram.
Just Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, for persons who don't have social media, is there another way that they can access, or how would they go about doing that?
In order to, you mean to get in contact with
to get the link.
Oh, on Facebook, well, there's a Facebook.
There's our website too.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can probably hop onto our website.
Okay,
You
perfect.
won't have any social media platforms.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so, so they
And
just
there's
have to search for
YouTube
link.
as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So YouTube, we have the website for those who may not be on a social media platform. For young people, we know that you're on Instagram, that there's no doubt about that. Or older youth might be on Facebook, or younger youth are now telling me that they're not using Facebook as much. It's more for the upper end of the youth. The younger and our teens into early 20s, they're more on Instagram apparently. And so we know that you've captured the gamut of the youth population there, and then of course our adult population who may not have those social media accounts, you have an option as well. So in essence, everyone has access, can potentially have access to it. If you need more information, you go onto the website, you can get contact information, and I know you can reach out to the persons. And before we close out, we'll make sure that we also share ways in which you can contact the organization if you have questions about it. Now, the autism and persons, young people, students on the autism spectrum, it is a relatively new area of research, and so any data, any information that we can collect will be useful. And so I want to commend you for not only having this survey but also for advocating for our persons with autism in this way by making sure that we have a foundation for that conversation.
Absolutely.
Is the survey specific to any target audience, or is it a general public survey? Like anyone can do it?
It's a general public survey, so hop on and fill it out.
Okay. So don't say, well, I don't know. Whatever it is, go on and they'll be able to measure your exposure, your knowledge, and all of that in terms of being on the autism spectrum. We also have another campaign that we wanted to share about.
Yes. So Fiona and I, through Lake Health and Wellbeing, our final project is to work on launching a series of videos and audio campaign, and the goal of that is to highlight the impact of these health policies in St. Kitts and Nevis. So how would a school nutrition policy impact the youth? How would front of package warning labels impact the youth? How would a sugar sweetened beverage tax impact the youth or impact healthier choices within our federation? And so it is to basically, the videos hopefully would empower and mobilize the youth to advocate for health policies, and also to engage policymakers to have a dialogue and collaborate with youths as it relates to health policies in St. Kitts and Nevis. And the overall goal, as I mentioned, is just to promote or depict the impact of these policies. So we have been working on the video campaigns, and so of course, and we have also provided sneak peeks on our Facebook,
nice.
on the Instagram and Facebook page, so you get an idea of what we are trying to achieve before the launch of the campaign.
All right, so I'm intrigued about the campaign because anything media related, our children, our students, our young people, they draw to that. In the past, we would have been able to put out lots of written work, and they would read. Now they would read, but not as extensively, and so they're stimulated by the visuals. Perhaps because we are so we are inundated by so much media. That is just part of their world. Persons have different perspectives as it relates to that, but I can tell you, I've noted that children and young people learn way more. They learn much more when they are able to see it and engage through a video series or video, even in the classroom. Videos and short clips are what drive them to really hold on to and embrace whatever we're trying to get them to embrace. So I want to commend you on that initiative. Because I haven't gotten my sneak peek, I was just curious as to whether the videos involved people, or they were just animations.
People. So it involves people. Of course, in terms of Lake Health and Wellbeing in general, there are different strategies that are used, such as animation and actually involving persons. But for our campaign in particular, it involves students here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
And so you were able to select the students through a specific process, or as an open call, or if any students out there are still interested, is it closed off? What are the parameters for?
In the selection process, I guess you could say it was open to anyone who was interested in the in being a part. So we reached out to various persons within the community, and persons who are willing to volunteer. We involved them in the videos. Of course, we got the consent needed to engage youth within the videos. But as far as the campaign itself, we have finalized the filming of it. So then,
That's closed off for now.
it's closed off for now. Yes.
Okay. And in terms of the technical component, are you going to be the ones doing the film, or have you engaged other persons to do that?
We reached out to videographers to assist with the campaign, and we also were a part of being able to create some such as the flyers for the campaign, and also the edit of some the audio of the campaign.
That's the one that
Yes.
we both worked on, so
Yes.
it's actually our craft.
Yes.
Oh, so
look forward to
take me
that.
through that. So you physically edited the audio?
Yes.
Yes.
Where, did you have to go through some special training, or?
Well, we didn't.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I guess we have the
Technology.
Yes.
to be able to do it, and so we we recorded the audio, and then we edited, chopped, and put everything together.
Put the sound effects in,
Yes.
clear it out.
Yes.
So
It
did you
was-
do it using your computers, by your phones? I'm just interested in that.
Both.
Both devices. We used all the technology
That we had.
devices that we had.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Nice. That is, in fact, very interesting.
Yes, yes.
And you didn't do any special classes or courses or anything?
No.
So, and when we hear that young people are just natural, the technology natives, you are testament to that, because
Yes.
I would need a full course, probably 2 months. All right, but because I'm no longer in that bracket, unfortunately, although I want to pretend that I am, but I want to say commendations to you, to Lake Health and Wellbeing. And before we have about 30 seconds each before we close out, is there anything that you want to share, contact information, or how you can go about getting more information about Lake Health, and anything that you want persons to take away?
And the takeaway from this session, of course, is, to policymakers, to government officials, to the various ministries, pursue various ways, different programs in order to engage us as youths in the decision-making process. And for youths, of course, be open to getting involved in the various programs. There are initiatives out there that would engage us, and we just have to be open to being a part. Even though you may not know in depth about health, when you do become engaged in the process, of course you will be made known or made aware of the issues that we are facing currently. And of course you could access us on Facebook, Lake Health and Wellbeing, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our website, lakehealthandwellbeing.com.
All right, so I think we've gotten a lot from you both. Is there anything you want to share in closing, Fiona?
I would encourage more young people to be involved, especially since you have a voice. Use that to the best potential that you have, because you are the driving force for change. You can do this. When you're able to actively engage in promoting health, by spreading awareness, because you're talking to friends every day, maybe you could bring like a certain topic to your friends so that they understand this problem, and then collectiveness basically drives success to certain projects and whatnot. So when you're greater in number, you have a greater advantage.
All right, thank you so much. And you have a voice, young people.
Yes.
Use it. I think that's the closeout, and we look forward to coming back to you next Saturday, where we will be able to share more with you. Of course, our ambassadors or advocates won't be here with us, but we wish everyone a wonderful week until we join you again next week for Youth on the Go here on Vaughan Radio.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
With